Kaladin fell with the rain. He clung to the assassin's bone-white clothing with his one working hand. The assassin's dropped shard blade exploded into mist beside them, and together they plummeted toward the ground 100 feet below. The tempest within Kaladin was almost still.
Too little Stormlight.
The assassin suddenly started glowing more powerfully.
He has spears.
Light streamed from spheres and the pouches at the assassin's waist. As the light streamed into Kaladin, the assassin kicked at him. One handhold was not enough, and Kaladin was thrown free. Then he hit. His vision flashed like lightning. It cleared a moment later, and he found himself lying on the rocks at the base of the rise that led to the king's palace, a gentle rain sprinkling him. He looked up at the distant light of the hole in the wall above. He'd survived.
One question answered.
He struggled to his knees on the wet rock. The Stormlight was already working on his skin, which was shredded along his right side. He'd broken something in his shoulder. He could feel its healing as a burning pain that slowly retreated. But his right forearm and hand, faintly lit by the Stormlight rising from the rest of him, were still a dull gray. Like a dead candle in a row, this part of him did not glow. He couldn't feel it. He couldn't even move the fingers. They drooped limp as he cradled the hand. Nearby, the assassin in white stood up, straight in the rain. He'd somehow gotten his feet beneath him and landed in control, with poise. This man had a level of experience with his powers that made Kaladin look like a new recruit. The assassin turned on Kaladin, then stopped short. He spoke softly then in a language Kaladin didn't understand, the words breathy and sibilant.
Gotta move before he summons that blade again.
Unfortunately, he failed to shove down the horror at having lost the hand.
No more spear fighting. No more surgery.
Both men he had learned to be were now lost to him.
Except, I can almost feel...
Did I lash you?
His eyes had darkened, losing their sapphire blue quality.
To the ground? But why did you not die falling? No, I must have lashed you upward. Impossible.
He stepped back, a moment of surprise.
A moment to live, perhaps.
Kaladin felt the light working, the tempest within straining and pushing. He gritted his teeth. The color returned to his hand, and feeling, cold pain suddenly flooded his arm, hand, fingers. Light began to stream from his hand.
No! No!
Whatever Kaladin had done to his hand had consumed much of his light, and his overall glow faded, leaving him barely alight. Still on his knees, gritting his teeth, Kaladin grabbed the knife from his belt, but found his grip weak. He almost fumbled the weapon as he got it free. He swapped the knife to his offhand. It would have to do. He threw himself to his feet and charged the assassin.
Have to hit him quickly to have a chance.
The assassin jumped backward, soaring a good 10 feet, his white clothing rippling in the night air. He landed with a lithe grace, shard blade appearing in his hand.
What are you?
Same thing you are. Windrunner.
You can't be.
Kaladin held up the knife, the few wisps of remaining light steaming from his skin. Rain sprinkled him. The assassin scrambled backward, eyes as wide as if Kaladin had turned into a chasm fiend.
They told me I was a liar. They told me I was wrong. Seth's son Vallon. Truthless. They named me Truthless.
Kaladin stepped forward as threateningly as he could manage, hoping his stormlight would last long enough to be imposing. He let it puff before him faintly, luminescent in the darkness. The assassin scrambled back through a puddle.
Are they back? Are they all back?
Yes.
It seemed like the right answer. The answer that would keep him alive, at least. The assassin stared at him a moment longer, then turned and fled. Kaladin watched the glowing form run, then lurch into the sky. He zipped eastward as a streak of light.
Storms.
Kaladin breathed out the last of his light and collapsed in a heap.